U.S. President Joe Biden has finally spoken about the Chinese balloon saga and 3 other unknown aerial objects shot down by U.S. fighter jets in recent days. It all started when a gigantic white balloon suspected to be a Chinese surveillance device was shot down in early February, putting North American security forces on high alert. Since then, 3 other much smaller objects were spotted over Canada and the United States. Of the U.S. states of Alaska and Michigan and shot down as well. Biden has now broken his silence about the unknown aerial objects.
We don't yet know exactly what these 3 objects were, but nothing right now suggests they were related to China's spy balloon program or that they were surveillance vehicles from any other country. The intelligence community's current assessment is that these 3 objects were most likely balloons tied to private companies, recreation or research institutions studying weather or conducting other scientific research.
And we can now speak to DW correspondent Michaela Kufner, who's following all of this from Washington. Michaela, according to Joe Biden, the origin and purpose of these objects is still not clear. How can that be?
Because they're still looking for the debris, and this is in difficult conditions. The most material they found is about that very first balloon that sparked this whole affair that is linked to Chinese intelligence gathering. That much we know. We're still due to learn more about the makeup of that, the electronics, what the precise target could have been, although there was speculation that it was originally supposed to go across Hawaii. But these other 3 balloons were discovered, and I just want to remind us all, because this is also being reiterated, but it gets somewhat lost, when there was another look at the radar systems used to detect any kind of flying objects. And those were much more sensitive after that first balloon. And that's why these other 3 objects were found, which were initially described to be malign. And now we've heard a bit more detail on that from the president, the assumption that these could have been weather balloons or from a private company. But we did actually learn surprisingly little new in that 8-minute or so statement where he didn't answer any questions.
So how will these kinds of objects be dealt with in the future?
Well, that's the thing. The president did announce that there could be policy changes, a look at how protocols could potentially be changed in the future. What we know a lot more about than about the balloons is the impact that this has had. This first initial balloon came as quite a bit of a shock to the American people, who suddenly found a huge Chinese spy balloon over their territory. And it sparked a cascade of political movement, with now all sides outbidding each other to be more critical of China. And this torpedoed attempts by President Biden to put a flaw in relations with China, which had been downhill anyway. After all, his Secretary of State Blinken then cancelled a visit. And now we heard from the president that he intends to reach out and reconnect with China in the near future. So that's something many policymakers feel is overdue, and many others who are hawkish on China feel more anti-China. That also means economics, with a huge interdependence than they were before.
And Biden has said that he wants to talk about all of this with the Chinese president. Michaela Kufner from Washington, thank you so much.